Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Woodard. I am the solver of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. I have a message for the governors of Wyoming and the governor of New Mexico. First of all, I need to say something about the Forrest Fenn community online on YouTube. All of the vloggers that have been paid by Chase Inc., and they know it now, have been co-conspirators to fraud. And Ben Napple already knows that this is happening. He doesn't believe that it is going to happen. He thinks that a handshake with Shiloh Old and just keep the secret of the fraud that's gone on.
There are lies and manipulation at all fronts, and we all know that. Yes, which is why also, and can I just speak frankly to the audience, Ash?
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to treat you guys with a little bit of a modicum of, respect. Duh! Of course there's lies and manipulation in this chase. Are you surprised that I used lies and manipulation to try to figure out what the fuck happened in this chase? Oh, Ben, you've changed in the last 3 years. No shit! I had a plan, I did the plan, it worked. I've changed only because when I learn things, I have to adapt to keep learning things. And then when I've learned enough things, and then I come to a conclusion that it's time to make a handshake and keep a secret for the betterment of the community, I would hope that maybe some people go, well, wow, yeah, Ben changed, but why did Ben change? Did he sell out? Well, that would suck. But if he didn't sell out, then what else changed? Or what else could have changed if he didn't sell out? Well, gee, don't you wonder? I think in May I said a reckoning was coming. I think a reckoning is coming. I'm very excited. But what do I know? I just want to preserve the motherfucker's legacy, right? It's dumbfounding. The reckoning could just very well be a mockery of the assumption. At worst, if you're feeling very defensive, it's probably going to be a recompense for your infiltration. Karma. You infiltrated, you got infiltrated. Well then, karma for me. If I infiltrated, well then maybe I'll get infiltrated. Nope. Because I know how to shut the back door on my way in. Don't make me convince the generals that we have to, nuke Hiroshima. No, that sounds like a threat. That's not what I'm trying to imply. It's a wrong analogy. Can you understand I'm just in it for us, and I'm not in it for me? And then at the end result here, you're going to find out I wasn't in it for me. At the end result, you're going to find out, no matter what, even if they literally publicly handed over to me a gold bar worth $1 billion, and I took it, you will find out I didn't do this for me, I did it for everyone. Even if that happened, which it won't. I'm just saying, even if that happened. All right, final thoughts.
Not realizing all of the vloggers that have gone against me to shut me down from getting out the truth, they're not my concern anymore. They're really not. My concern is higher up the food chain. Now, all of the vloggers, the FBI will most likely be contacting you. And I have a few of the vloggers who I will consider putting in a good word for. But We'll see what happens. It's out of my hands now. The vloggers don't matter to me. What matters to me is the governors of Wyoming, Mark Gordon, and the governor of New Mexico, Michelle Grisham. Mark Gordon, there's a chain of command in the legal system. You are at the top, Mark. You are the governor of Wyoming. In that whole chain of command, which is a chain, sometimes, like that chain all the way down, you have a weak link that disturbs that chain. You want that chain as solid as possible. And so does Michelle Grisham. So, Wyoming, your weak link in that chain happens to be Sarah Davis that worked for Yellowstone. Now, there was a situation of fraud, which is theft by deception. Mark and Michelle, please understand, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I know it's going to seem like it is. And I'm not calling you out. I'm not saying that there's been a crime committed. I'm saying there's a weak link that you need to look at and investigate in your state, in your whole group of employees that are underneath you. And Sarah Davis, I believe, is a weak link. She's involved with the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt scandal. Now, she made a statement and then retired, disappeared. I've already filed paperwork for a crime in Yellowstone. I went through the right channels. I have a copy of it. I filed a crime had been committed in Yellowstone. Sarah Davis knows the truth. Just talk to her. That's all I'm asking, Mark. You have people you can put right on this to investigate, who aren't going to take any crap from anybody. That's what you need to do, Mark. This is a deceptive crime that is going on in Wyoming at Yellowstone at 9 Mile Hole for Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Please, just investigate that issue, that statement, the whole situation that happened in Yellowstone, because it's going to be proven that is fraudulent. Now, I don't know if they came up to her and really did that. Jack Stuef and Shiloh Old. Forrest Fenn had nothing to do with that. Whatever you hear, Forrest Fenn had nothing to do with the fraudulent side of covering up that treasure chest and that treasure chest location, the treasure hunt. Forrest Fenn was manipulating. You're going to hear a ton of new information that comes out. That this is all planned by Forrest Fenn. It wasn't, folks. And I can prove that. And I will prove that at the end of this video. I will put out why Forrest Fenn was innocent. It's not going to take long. It's going to take about 5 or 10 minutes. But I will explain to you what the actual solve was and why it's so confusing at the end. This is a video that's going to change history, folks. This one right here. Because the governor of Wyoming, you have to step up and do your job. I have full faith in you. I'm not mad at you. I know I kid around. I call you Commissioner Gordon on my team because, listen, Mark. I'm fighting cancer, okay? I solved Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. I got screwed over. It took me 5 years to solve it. I've spent another 3.5 years investigating it. 20 years law enforcement. 3.5 years investigating how I get screwed over. And I'll explain that briefly in the end. So understand this. There is a fraudulent scandal that has occurred in New Mexico. The deception is in Wyoming. You need to investigate this for the Forrest Fenn community, for the 500,000 searchers that went out looking for that treasure, for Josh Gates, who went out looking for that treasure, and for me, the guy that solved it. And I'm telling you that a crime has been committed, and I reported it, in Wyoming at Yellowstone. And I've tried to contact the Attorney General's office, Erin Wiseman, and I have full confidence that she will do whatever she needs to do to rectify this. She's not my enemy. I'm not her enemy. I called her one of my heroes, and Mark Gordon's one of my heroes. So Wyoming, I have no issues with. They haven't done anything to deter me besides not move on my filing of a crime. And I understand that. It sounds crazy. It's just a report, but you're going to have to look it up. I'll probably post it if I can, whatever. But now, New Mexico, Michelle Grisham, your state, your house has a weak link. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been emailing your office, the Attorney General's office, for months and months and months, and I filed a crime like I was supposed to do, like I was told to do. I'll put that up, I filed a complaint of a crime. Now, what it's supposed to do is generate a reference number, and then I will get an email to say, okay, we've received your file of a complaint of a crime. I never received anything. I've emailed. And I'm not throwing this person under the bus. I'm just, Michelle, you have a team. You have a team at the Attorney General's office. But this is possibly where your weak link is. Lisa Chavez, I have email after email after email after email explaining all of the things that are going to happen, what I'm going to do. But sometimes when you give out too much information, they use that against you and they shut you down somehow because they know what your plan is. So for some reason, me filing a crime back in May of 2023 didn't go through. Now, Lisa Chavez knows that I reported that, but it was shut down and nothing ever came from it. So why? Why was my report, my reference number, never sent in and gone through down the right channels it was supposed to go through? So there's something fishy there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not accusing her of a crime. I'm saying she may be a weak link at your house, in your family. So you're going to have to investigate that. Please realize this. And again, I'm not your enemy. I'm the victim here. I'm the victim that's coming forward, going to the right channels that I need to go through because the previous channels have not listened to what I've said. Your state is in for a tornado of PR. In Wyoming also. But Michelle Grisham, your state, there's something broken down in the system right now that I've uncovered. So the vloggers, they don't matter to me anymore. They are not my concern. I have already proven that a lot of them are guilty of co-conspiracy in a fraudulent treasure hunt ending. They're nervous. Ben Napple, I'll put the picture up. Watch the video. Watch the last 45 minutes. You don't have to watch 2 hours and 45 minutes. But Ben Napple knows that the shit is going to hit the fan. He knows. He absolutely knows. So by saying that there's a weak link in the court system in New Mexico, I'm putting a target on my back. I have called out the governor of Wyoming. I've called out the governor of New Mexico. Now, this is a multi-state criminal offense, and they better get together and start talking about this because what I believe is going to happen because of this, and I can prove, I can prove. I put in my paperwork to file for a crime in May. My treasure chest and my contents of the treasure chest that's in dispute. Maybe there was a lull Okay, but there's a whole bunch of people that were disputing that treasure chest, Michelle. That treasure chest that originated in New Mexico. Now, Kitty, you're killing me. So, hold on. When there's an item of this magnitude, of millions of dollars worth of substance, evidence, whatever you want to call it, when there's a dispute in court, Michelle, you know this. They can't, Shiloh and Zoe and Carl and Jack Stuef cannot take that item and just go out and nonchalantly sell it through heritage auctions because there's a dispute going on in court for that item. That is illegal. As far as I know, nobody's told me it's not, but common sense kind of tells you if something's being disputed, you can't just go out and sell it because you're selling possible stolen goods. It has to be determined if it's legit for them to sell it or not. And the treasure chest was sold because there were no disputes going on at that time. When was the treasure chest actually sold? The contents actually sold through heritage auctions. There's a weak link in the court system in New Mexico. Now, whatever happened there, that's up to you to investigate now. I've retired my hat of investigating that there has been a crime committed against Forrest Fenn for his treasure chest and against the actual person who solved Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt, which he announced the man from back east solved it precisely. Well, I'm stepping forward and I've tried to in court as the man from back east who solved his treasure hunt precisely. And if you don't believe that I have, please investigate my last few videos. I have videos of the actual solve. I have videos of the map. I have videos of the secret. I have videos of layers of different things that Forrest Fenn brought in to create this treasure hunt. About heroes, about dedications, about comic books, about superheroes, about dedications to lost soldiers, about dedications to other war heroes, dedications to Mavericks, the other Air Force pilots that he flew with, dedications to police officers, doctors. Marvel Gaze is all of the Marvel characters that Forrest Fenn hid inside of his stories. I have a video. It was 3 hours long, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It did not go to YouTube because copyrights. Just so you have a little bit of an understanding, a basic understanding of Forrest Fenn at the end when he talked about, I'll tell you of my secret plan, Dancing with the Stars. He was talking about his bells. His bells, this is what's creative and what I went into his mind to find. Before he talks about the bells and how many bells he made to bury, he was talking about getting the nails from Skippy from a shipwreck, the clankers that would go inside of his bells. Okay, this is where Tinkerbell comes in. And he said, I hope that somebody doesn't find it for 1,000 years. If you look up Tinkerbell and 1,000 years, you'll see the connection. Forrest Fenn used tons of connections about comic book characters, his favorite love of all of these different movie stars and characters from movies and TV shows. This was based around Clark Kent and Aunt Esther, both DC characters, Superman and Aunt Esther. Aunt Esther is a double meaning for Aunt Esther on the Sanford and Son show, the homely girl on the cross grave marker in Vietnam. That was the secret, folks. I found Forrest Fenn's secret at Palisade Sill, Cimarron Canyon, New Mexico. I told Forrest Fenn, and this is where I'll give you a brief rundown.
Can you understand I'm just in it for us, and I'm not in it for me? And then at the end result here, you're going to find out I wasn't in it for me. At the end result, you're going to find out, no matter what, even if they literally publicly handed over to me a gold bar worth $1 billion, and I took it, You will find out I didn't do this for me, I did it for everyone.
So you understand, but Michelle, you need to get the right Attorney General investigators on the job, because I'm done investigating. I'm turning this over to the Attorney Generals in Wyoming and New Mexico. I'm turning it over to the top dogs, which are Michelle Grisham, the governor, and Mark Gordon. You guys are in charge now. The information is out there that fraud has occurred. The person who tried to report those crimes was shut down. All of these vloggers are like, Dave, what's up with the court case? What's going on? What's going on? You know what's going on? I was shut down. That's what's going on. And I'm done. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm all done trying to investigate the court system. I'm all done trying to investigate the people from Yellowstone that want to protect Sarah Davis. There's no more protecting anybody that Shallow Old has paid or infiltrated to help him with this conspiracy. This conspiracy goes really deep. It goes into government officials. Somehow. That's your job to investigate now. I'm retiring my hat. I am. I am done. I'm so done making my videos to try to persuade somebody to help me. I don't need to persuade anybody anymore. I need to let you know that there's a glitch in your court system in New Mexico, Michelle Grisham, and you want to investigate this. This is too big. This is too big, because being a multi-state scandal, I believe that the FBI is going to step in. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is going to go, we need to step into this, because crap has gone on in New Mexico that shouldn't have gone on. Sales of items that are still in dispute in court. Somebody screwed up there. Whether it's the judge, whether it's Lisa Chavez, whether it's Kyle Summer going into somebody he knows in the courthouse and saying, hey, just squash this case for me. You're a buddy of mine. I don't give a shit how it happened. Somebody's got to pay for what happened to me. Somebody's got to pay for what happened to Forrest Fenn. We're not the guilty guys here. Forrest Fenn did not take that treasure chest back. It was stolen from him. And I can prove how. And I have proven it in my videos. Folks, when I write something down, yes, I reverse it. Yes, I don't always double check it. My fat fingers might change a do to a so. And things don't make sense. I had brain damage. Yeah, I did. I absolutely. And what did it do? It turned me into a big kid. But you know what? It's not time for children here. This is the adult time. And I I talked to Shiloh years ago and said, you need to involve the adults, Shiloh, so that this can get straightened out. And you know what the adults did? The adults covered it up. And then they've included more and more people to cover this fraud up. There's a gigantic web and scandal of fraud, lies, false documents, forged names, lying and deceit about everything about that treasure hunt and what the meaning behind it was. But they're not going to fall for it, Shiloh. That's the difference, because the real truth is out there with me. Folks, let me get into why Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt was so confusing to everybody at the end. Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. Here we go. He made a poem. That's all you need to solve this, is the poem and the name of the book. Thrill of the Chase. Thrill of the Chase is the scene from Superman, the Thrill of the Chase. The title leads you to the gold. The gold is Superman. The title will, all you need is the thrill of the chase.
One clue. So I doubt that I'm going to be the person who finds the treasure chest.
Well, don't give up. It's the thrill of the chase.
It is the thrill of the chase.
Knowing that you're looking for something with the thrill of the chase. What is it? In his stories, he gave you balls of string, he gave you marbles, he gave you all kinds of things, arrowheads. Those are all comic books and Marvel dimensions with the mirrors. He brought in everything comic books. So understanding that, as I've gone alone in there, is Forrest Fenn's Fortress of Solitude, just like Superman. But understanding the first clue brings you precisely to the search area. And if you do it exactly right, you'll park in the extra parking lot at Palisade Cell right in front of the Kent and Esther cross, as I did. I didn't know Kent and Esther. Had no idea. Took a picture of it my first trip. I was like, wow, that's cool. Went off looking for the treasure for 3 years. Well, actually 2.5 years. And then I found the blaze, folks. If you know your search area, you look for the blaze. And I did. I solved the poem. I found the blaze. Forrest Fenn knew in December 2017, I've got a gut feeling. I found the blaze in November 2017. So Forrest Fenn knew that I found the actual blaze in the poem. Now, from the blaze, folks, this is the boots on the ground part of it. This is where everybody is confused. When I found Forrest Fenn's blaze, the fire pit up on the ridge behind the parking area that you can see Devil's Mailbox, which has all the postmarks in the books. Up on that ridge is the blaze. That's where Forrest Fenn used to camp. That's the end of his rainbow trout that he used to cook when he was a kid. All the answers are there. Forrest Fenn wanted to go up there and lay himself down and die with the treasure. But there's no physical way that he could do that at 80 years old. And he wasn't ready to die. So he had to come up with an alternative plan for an ending. Instead of just leaving it up at the fire pit, he came up with something creative and something fun and something ha. So what Forrest Fenn did was, in his mind, he uses it like a mirror dimension. He came up with Kent and Esther transforming into canasta. He melded the names together. And a meld is a canasta hand. So it's in all my videos, the answers to this. But he melded the thoughts together. And he created the Kent and Esther cross, the grave marker that had the homely girl, Aunt Esther, and it had the superhero, Clark Kent, to dedicate to all heroes, everyday superheroes, from what the scene was in Superman. That's the beauty of this. So he came up with that grave marker, and he's like, I've got to put it somewhere simple where an 80-year-old man could get it. While everybody else is out searching, the 80-year-old man would be waiting in the parking lot for everybody else near the picnic area. So that cross was 12 feet in from the parking lot edge. Kent and Esther were the aberrations that lived out on the edge of the parking lot. So Forrest Fenn's alternative plan was, if you've been wise and found the blaze, I found the blaze. When you find that blaze, you look quickly down. That took me 2 years. I apologize. My bad. And that's explained in my videos why it took me so long. There's look down into the like little trench that leads up. There's look down the steep hill in the front. There's look down the canyon. I searched them all. I finally, at the end, I realized I was sitting in the parking lot thinking I was all done, thinking I was beat. He beat me again. I didn't figure out what the look quickly down was. And I sat in front of that Kent and Esther cross, and I realized that's canaster. If you join them together, it's canaster. Just like Michael Hunt in Porky's. Is Mike Hunt there? It's all a game of wits. And I figured out that Kent and Esther were canasta. I did not know who they were for Heroes and the Homely Girl when I solved it. So I kept it quiet. I was like, did I really solve this? I mean, this is where I started. But the poem leads you from his fire pit. If you've been wise and found my fire pit, look quickly down, your quest to cease. Your quest is done. No more searching. Your quest is completely done. You go back down where you started. And the word cease is T.S. Eliot. We shall not cease from our searching until you end up back where you started. So you go down the steep hill, not really physically because it's too steep. You go back down the trench or you go back down around the side behind the outhouse. And when you get back to the parking lot, you tarry scant. You cross that small parking lot with marvel gaze. The comic book heroes are on the grave marker. That's the solve, folks. That's the confusion that everybody has in Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. They don't know, how do you get back down to the cross when you're saying that Forrest Fenn's secret area is up somewhere else? He came up with an alternative plan because you know why? You know why there was an alternative plan? Right there. Because it was too far to walk back up that ridge 500 feet up that he couldn't get to again with that treasure chest. And he wasn't ready to die, and his car would have been there, or an Uber would have dropped him off. But there was no physical way for him to get, unless he had to trust somebody, to get there and let his bones rest by the fire pit up on the ridge. So he couldn't do it. His alternative plan, the second blaze down near the cross, the grave marker. There was a little ring of rocks, folks. That's the fake blaze that you heard come from Jack Stuef and Cynthia Meacham and Shiloh Old. That is a fake blaze. So when you come down and you walk up to that cross in the marble gaze, I used to think that the marble gaze was Palisade Still. And it is. It's another double meaning for the marble gaze. But as you're walking up to the marble gaze, there's a little cross there with a ring of rocks. That little ring of rocks is the doppelganger of Forrest Fenn's secret area. His blaze, his fire pit from when he was a kid. Surviving Myself, the end of that story, is the story on how you actually physically get back down. And he calls it a cemetery in the story. But it's, folks, I have everything lined up. And Michelle Grisham, you should listen to this. I have factual information about distances. It is clear down to the cemetery, 2 miles distance. From Clear Creek, I have a snapshot of this. From Clear Creek to the grave marker is exactly 2 miles. All of this is in my videos. The documentation. It's more than 8.2 miles north of Santa Fe. Santa Fe and Eagle's Nest, historical marker, are located at the same place. Eagle's Nest in Cimarron, or up at Eagle's Nest at Angel Fire, it was called the home of the Browns. Physically, it was called the home of the Browns. You can't get any more home of the Browns more than that. The clues that I have that Forrest Fenn put together are factual information, an actual solve of 9 clues, an actual solve of the map. For your investigators, let me make this simple. If they're going to take the poem and read it, take the word there and switch it with Palisade Sill. Take the word it and switch it with map. Take the map in the canyon down. That answers everything. And then you know from Angel Fire Agua Fria Peak, where warm waters halt is, where cold waters peak, over to put in below the home of Brown, Eagle's Nest, which is 23 miles. I have factual information about that too. And then from 8.3 miles down to Palisade Sill marker. The actual there, from there. So put in below the home of Brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. From there is Palisade Sill. If you switch there with Palisade, it all comes clear, folks. That's what the map is, and the poem, and everything in Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. And I've given it out. And I'm done giving it out. I don't need to give it out anymore. I need restitution. I need rest. I'm fighting cancer, and I fought these criminals for 3.5 years. And I'm not going to fight anymore. I need people that are going to step up for me and fight for the victim that a crime was committed against. And that folks, is Michelle Grisham and Mark Gordon. You have to understand, I'm reaching out to both of you as a human being that has had a crime committed against him that is so massive that it's probably going to involve the FBI. And I understand, but I want you governors to know you cannot ignore this anymore. Your attorney generals cannot ignore this anymore. They have to investigate for me because I'm all done doing it. I put enough information. I put enough evidence. They put enough lies. They put enough deceit. And I know how the treasure chest was stolen. And they've admitted to it. And they are admitting. But they're saying that Forrest Fenn asked them to do it, which is a lie. So it's going to come down to a court case. And I don't want to be there long. I don't need to waste my time in court when I've already proved it in my videos. My sister said to me, nobody's ever proved a crime on social media. Well, you know what? I just changed that. And I became a fucking hero doing it. I call myself the Hulk because I've been beat up a lot. And I'm like David Banner. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I'm the nicest fucking guy as a regular guy. But don't fucking make me angry. And Michelle Grisham, Mark Gordon, check your house for the weak links. I've given you some information. Forrest Fenn vloggers, you don't matter to me anymore. I've asked you to join my team. There's 3 of you that have joined my team of heroes. Now, I will put some leniency in, but I don't have control over what the FBI is going to do because I don't believe that Wyoming and New Mexico really care about the Forrest Fenn vloggers, but the FBI will because it shows who's fraudulent in this scandal, in this cover-up. And I have so many screenshots of people admitting taking money. Troy Barlow, Greg Thompson. And Greg Thompson's on my list as Korg, as a hero. He knows. Greg Thompson knows that I solved it. And he wants to be involved in something great because this is exposing one of the biggest fraudulent cover-ups of a treasure hunt ending against one man who had brain damage and rose above it to solve it and give it out to the public on social media. Because, as I said, I can't articulate writing something down the way that I used to. Sometimes I put it backwards. But I express myself in my videos. And that's what I've done. I've expressed what I found for Forrest Fenn in myself, in our journey, my fiance and me, and my son, and my buddy who has cancer, and what we went through. And there's so much that you don't know yet, folks, of our journey, of how many amazing things happened to us along the way. So what I want to say right now, because Marvel and DC and Disney, you're all involved in this. Do me a favor, Marvel, DC, or Disney, or whoever gets involved with, who wants the movie rights for this story. I want to be an extra somewhere in a Marvel movie or a DC movie. I want to be one of those superheroes in the movies that I've always wanted to be. And who doesn't? So many people are like, I want to be a superhero. When you see it, even Shazam, I've been watching Shazam lately. I don't want to get into other stuff. I need to shut this down. But I wanted everyone to understand the confusion at the end of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt, that he had an alternate ending, and I found it. I understood it when I realized who Kent and Esther were. And then it clicked. The look quickly down is the steep hill in the front. And you end up back where you started with the cease from T.S. Eliot. And he said this should give you goosebumps. Goosebumps is a comic book. All of the comic book connections. If you realized you were looking for comic books and superheroes, actresses and actors in all of these stories, it helps you. And again, he told you a secret. Watch my video about what the secret really is. Watch my video about what did the solver say to the judge. Watch my 5-second superhero videos of the 5-minute bonus clips. That one's amazing. There's so many different videos that I think back over the years, they're going to go down in history as some really cool videos of what really happened along the way. I was trying to get my information out, expressing my memoirs about our treasure hunt experiences, or my treasure hunt experiences, and how it all came about for me to solve this and then get screwed and then investigate it again and then solve the crime that was committed against me and Forrest Fenn. It's cyclical, folks. It's cyclical, and it's an amazing story, but there's been a crime committed. And that's what I want investigated. That's what I want every searcher and everybody around the world to understand, that there's a crime that was committed against me. And I stood up against it. I kept fighting. Goonies never die. This is actually a Goonies 2020. I swear to God, the way that it was stolen from me is like Indiana Jones and Goonies and so many different treasure hunts that it's going to go down in history, that I stood up against evil. And my team that joined me to back me, this is what scared the shit out of my family, that was saying, Dave, you can't push it that far. You're going to get in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm the victim here. I'm the guy that got screwed over. That treasure chest, the glory of digging it up, the opening it and looking at all of the things that Forrest Fenn put there, that Shiloh Old stole a couple of months after, because Forrest Fenn asked him to go check on it, to be honest. And that's why Forrest Fenn wanted to end the treasure hunt. That's why Greg's Brutal Truth, his minute video showing that Forrest Fenn said,
All falls, and she's out there. I mean, the temperature last week was 1 degree. She's out there, and I commented on Dow's blog, let's shut down Montana, Wyoming, northern Colorado, but they don't care.
Then what Forrest just said now, sitting in that chair, I believe a very significant clue was said. But I'm not going to say what it is.
I want to shut down Wyoming, Colorado, or northern Colorado, and Montana. It's too cold out there. People are doing dangerous things. He knew that I had already found it in New Mexico at the Kent and Esther Cross. That's why Forrest Fenn talked about shutting the treasure hunt down. So someone is responsible for Michael Sexton's death. And Jack Stuef stepped forward to take on that responsibility. Jack Stuef wants the responsibility of Michael Sexton's premature death in the wilderness. He stepped forward to accept that. After Michael Sexton passed away, Jack Stuef stepped forward as the finder. Jack Stuef has to come up with 9 clues. Jack Stuef has to come up with how he interpreted everything. All of his steps, the map, everything. Jack Stuef has to come up with. And Shiloh Old will back him 100%. Just like he said. Shiloh Old backed Jack Stuef 100% to dispute any conspiratorial theories. Well, folks, I'm the conspiratorial theory that Shiloh Old was trying to hide from the public Shiloh Old has been trying to hide everything about the treasure hunt and the sale and everything from the media. No more. It's out in the public. And you're screwed, Shiloh, and so is your clan and it goes deep, folks. It really does. It goes into the New Mexico court system. I'm just going to predict that. I can't say that until it's investigated. I'm going to tell you right now, it goes into the Wyoming, Yellowstone officers that were in Yellowstone. Who? Sarah Davis, at least. Maybe more. I don't know. I don't want to accuse anybody. I want those people looked into. And I have that right because I filed complaints of a crime that were blocked from getting into court. So, again, check the dates of when my claims are and when the treasure chest was sold. Because they're figuring, hey, if we get rid of it all, there's nothing for him to dispute. It's all gone. That's bullshit. You sold stolen goods. Kyle Summer, Jack Stuef, Zoe Old, and Heritage Gardens. You guys, did any of it occur to you? And folks, one last thing before I go. This treasure hunt revolved around Superman. The thrill of the chase of Forrest Fenn finding that first edition of Superman. He wanted that, and he searched years, and he finally got it. And he had one in his vault for the finder, for the solver. Heritage Auctions sold in 2022. They wanted to remain anonymous, an anonymous seller and an anonymous buyer. Through Heritage Auctions, again, illegal sale of a Superman #1 magazine that's supposed to be mine. I'm that fucking superhero that's supposed to have Superman and all the other comic book #1s that Forrest Fenn had in his vault for me. So, K-Pro and Calazars, Mike, I can tell how upset you are when you do your videos now. You know that Shiloh's bullshitting, but you're caught up in a web of deception and you signed NDAs. He can't protect you anymore. He can't. And you didn't want to come forward? Maybe you don't. That's on you. That's on you because you think that the guy who stole the treasure chest is going to protect you. And the same thing with Ben Napple. He wants to say it. He wants to tell everybody what the truth is, but he can't. So all of the bloggers, why must I go? Still pushing 9 Mile Hole. Troy Bowler has been paid off. Admitted it to me. I have it in text. And the people that have harassed me, James and Robert McQuaid, I have so many names, so many screenshots of you guys harassing me. That is co-conspiracy to protect fraud that's gone on in Wyoming and New Mexico. I've got all of you guys. There's so many people that are going to go down in history as thieves, evil pieces of crap that didn't want to come forward. But I gave them the chance. I've given olive branches. I'm all out of olive branches, folks. The olive branches I give out right now are for the people who are still on my superhero list. And our superhero team is going to rise as heroes. And you know who else is on that team, folks? I want to give a quick shout out to Brent John. Brent John created his own book about his journey in this treasure hunt. So I recommend, Brent, please on this video, post a link to be able to buy your book, wherever it is. Brent John has been by my side. He's like, Dave, your solve is amazing. But he still had his journey that he wanted to put into a book. Me, I couldn't put it into a book because it would have been all scrambled up. So I did it in my video form of my memoirs. So folks, I am the man from back east. I am Dave Woodard. I am the 20-year law enforcement officer that got screwed millions of dollars and the glory and movie rights and shit on by Shiloh Old and all of his crew. And I'm not going to take it anymore. And none of you should be taking the bullshit. You should be stepping up with me saying, Dave, you're right. We need answers. We believe that Forrest Fenn was innocent. And that's, if you want a timeline, folks, my Forrest Fenn innocent video. Like I said, there's so many videos out there that explain everything. And when the governors of Wyoming and New Mexico call me and say, hey, Dave, what video should we watch next? Because we want to learn and understand in a sequence that's not 250 videos long. But my last 10, 12, 15 videos, that will explain a lot. So, folks, the new year is coming in with a hell of a fucking bang. And it's there's shit that's going to happen. Forrest Fenn's legacy needs to be revived, and my self-respect needs to be redeemed. And that's why I'm here. And I'm not the FBI's enemy. I'm not the governor's enemy. I'm here to give out information and evidence that a crime has been committed. So I thank you all, and we're going to have an awesome, awesome new year, because my health, I have 5 more. I get delayed from the place shutting down, the cancer center, and then my fiance and I and this household just finished over COVID. So we're testing negative. I feel good again, and I'm going to do my last 5 treatments, and then I'm going to stop my medicine, and my life is going to go back to normal, and it's going to be fucking awesome. And I'm not going to spend months down bickering back and forth between Shiloh's made-up solve and what Forrest Fenn took 15 years to create. Because I've given it. I've given 15 years in 3.5 years. And I'm done giving. Like I said, I'm done. I'm so fucking done. If I don't hear from the governor or the attorney generals in Wyoming and New Mexico within the first 2 weeks of the new year, shit's going to hit the fan. You guys need to contact me, and I know that you know how. You have my emails, you have my telephone number, you have my information, and you have a lot of emails that explain what really happened. And hopefully this video did too. So folks, Happy New Year. I hope you had a great Christmas, and I thank you all very much. And look up Brent John's book, and I have a lot of awesome people on my team. Look their names up too, because they're going to be heroes with me. We are going to rise as incredible heroes that uncovered the biggest fraudulent treasure hunt in our lifetime. And the Hulk, we have a Hulk. That's all that matters. So folks, Happy New Year. Thank you very much.